Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another adventure, another weekend. Time for some fun. Woo, beautiful. Hopefully it doesn't get too hot. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another stick shift. And I tell you what, this morning started out crazy. I'm sure you guys seen this on social media and the news. Check this out and see what happened. What you're seeing there is a unstable passenger running through the airfield because apparently they missed their flight or something happened. I don't know. I just know that they found their way down to the ramp and started running like crazy. Once again, I'm sure you guys have seen this all over the news, but the original person that captured this is this person. He's an amazing content creator. You can find him on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and he also is an amazing ramp agent. So give him a follow, show him some love. But let's go back to this nuts situation here. Check this out. Now, the employees on the ramp, we're not supposed to do anything about this because that's why you have police. I mean, we call the authorities for this, but watching this is terrifying for us. There are active aircraft on the field. Engines are running. Tugs are moving around. This person could have gotten seriously hurt. Now, I don't know what was the mental status of this individual. Maybe they were full of anxiety or panic or just under the influence of something. I don't know. But I'm just happy, once again, they were not harmed, especially by aircraft. That airplane that he just ran by was an active aircraft. Those engines were running. It would have been split second if he ran across that front of that engine, and that's it. Pink mist. And I was watching all this. If you actually look closely, I was standing by 46 Alpha by the jet bridge, and I watched all of this happen right in front of my own eyes. Just my 2 cents on it. If you're anxious to fly or if you're in this state of emergency or panic, please don't do something like this. It's a one-way ticket to jail. Men with pretty blue suits will come over and give you a brand new pair of bracelets. Yep, and they'll give you a free Uber ride to jail. Just please don't do this. This is funny. Well, not funny, kind of serious. Apparently, a passenger decided to have their own adventure and ran out onto the ramp. Yeah, that's not going to end well for that. I heard they tased them, and don't be running around on the ramp. That's a bad idea, especially if you're not allowed here. Crazy. All right, let's go. Come on, let's get this thing ready to fly. Whoop. Let's walk through the cabin, make sure everything's okay, and then we'll go hit the flight deck. Oh, you know, somebody asked me, they wanted to see the wheelchair of the airplane. Pretty much every airplane, or most commercial airlines, have their own dedicated wheelchair. They're either in the mid-cabin, forward, somewhere in there. But yeah, I'm not gonna take this whole thing apart, but maybe I should, just so you can show you. But anyway, the wheelchair is here, so you can get, you know, somebody that is disabled or, you know, handicapped out of the chair. But the wheelchair stays with the airplane, okay? Once you're wheeled out, because the wheelchair itself is very narrow and it will fit down the aisle. But once you get down the aisle, your wheelchair will be, your own personal wheelchair will be waiting for you either over here or up there at the gate. But yeah, and you also have other amenities. I'll show you in a second. For example, to get out of an airplane, to get out of a chair is what I meant to say. Sorry about that. Sometimes, you know, you have armrests. That's why you have things like this. See? So you can easily get out. Obviously, these don't have it, but you got more than enough space right here. But if you get to seats like this, and I'm sure pretty much everybody knows about this one, press the little button. See? But if you don't press it, it just stays locked. But right here, press that. Both Airbus and Boeing have this. It's standard. There you go. So you can just easily get out. We still had a little bit of ground time, so I actually did take apart the wheelchair to show you. Check it out. See? It's a small little wheelchair. Just fits perfectly. I probably didn't open this all the way properly, but yeah. There you go. Armrest, and they have straps also. They can harness the person securely onto the wheelchair. And again, they'll just wheel you out of the airplane to your own personal wheelchair. Anyway, let's put this back. And like I said, they usually live in compartments like this, forward and aft. Let's put this back together and put it back in the bag. And some other little fun amenities over here. So check this out. They actually have plugs right here for vacuum cleaners. Pretty cool, huh? Overall, everything is looking good, which is a good bird. I think it's going out to Miami, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it is. We'll get this all aligned, get it all ready for the pilots. Already did a walk around. Happy airplane. All right, let's keep on going. But before we go, we got to teach you something. Somebody asked me, actually. They said, Stig, what is that little gauge right next to the landing gear lever? This is the brake accumulator and brake pressure cluster. And just to remind you, this is the Airbus 320 family, so this is the cluster on this aircraft. Pretty much every other aircraft also has this. It has a brake accumulator gauge. So on this gauge, there's basically two pieces of information that you really need to know. The top gauge and the two bottom gauges. The top gauge is your emergency accumulator brake pressure. Let's say all hydraulics failed. No engine, EDPs, engine-driven pumps, no electric pumps, no nothing. You have zero of any positive hydraulic pressure, but you still have fluid. You still have a dedicated brake accumulator that will push pressure to the brakes. It lives in the right-hand wheel well of the Airbus. It looks like this. So the way the braking system works on an Airbus is you have primary, which is the green system, and then you have alternate braking, which is the yellow system. The pressure accumulator only deals with the yellow system because it's simply a backup system. That's all it is. Like I said, just in case you lost all hydraulic pressure for your braking system and you are landing, and this is what you have left, you have about, I'd say, 3 to 4 good pumps for braking. That's about it. It's your last resort for braking. Now, the other two gauges at the bottom is regarding your left and right brake system. It's just showing how much hydraulic pressure is going into that system. Now, there's a particular reason why they have it configured like this. The green zone on the brake gauges go from 0 to 1000 psi, as you can see. When the anti-skid is not available, the brake pressure must be less than 1000 to prevent any kind of wheel locking or prevent any kind of tire burst. You must only use the green band if there is an alternate braking without the anti-skid. Otherwise, the brake pressure accumulator should always read in the green sector, and the bottom gauges should always read up at a higher level, which is around 3000 to 2000 psi. It's because the hydraulics are not running. Once the hydraulics are running, those bottom gauges will jump up to 3000 psi. And if you were wondering how pilots apply brakes to an aircraft, just like that, with the rudder pedals, you just press on top of the rudder pedals and it will apply the brakes. Taking my airplane out for a walk. I've gotten a lot of questions on the CFM family, specific to the CFM LEAP 1A equipped on the Airbus 321neo and the CFM LEAP 1B equipped on the 737 MAX. And the question is, why do these engines take so long to start? The quick and easy answer is called rotor shaft bowing. Bowing not as in the airplane, bowing as in like bending of the shaft, like it bows like a bow and arrow. Rotor bow is a condition in which the center line of the shaft or dual shaft can basically bow down or up when the engine is about to spool. It needs to get up into sufficient speed for that bowing to stop and to straighten out for the engine to be efficient and start properly. If you have uneven rotation of that shaft, that can cause damage. This is why it takes so long and the engine needs to rotate so long for that shaft to straighten itself out. Centrifugal forces. That's what it basically boils down to. It also has a big factor of uneven cooling of the shafts when the engine shuts down. Now, you ask yourself, how come they didn't design it better? Because of the way the engine is basically designed. The rotor shafts are thinner. Something is thinner, you are now increasing the flexibility of that shaft. That makes it more susceptible to thermal deformation. I think that's what they call it. It's been a while since I went to the CFM course, so forgive me if I'm getting the acronyms or the terminology incorrectly. But point of the fact is, that's why it takes so long for these engines to start. Now, interestingly enough, it only usually happens on the first start of the day. When it's on a quick turnaround, the engine actually is pretty quick. Starts out in I'd say about a minute, maximum 2 minutes. But when it first starts out, like the first start of the day, and when the engine is completely cold, it takes a while. It takes about, I'd say, 3 to 5 minutes. Don't ask me about the Pratt & Whitney Neo engines. I have zero idea on those. On to the next one. Let's go. 319. Oh my goodness. 802. This is an old American West bird. This thing is actually one of the oldest birds. Let's go check it out inside. From what I remember reading last time, this thing actually has about 36, almost 37,000 hours of ship cycles. And about, I think it was almost 79,000 ship time. Let's look at the data plate. Well, not data plate, the registration. Okay, so to clarify, the difference between ship time and ship cycles. So ship time means how much time it's spent flying. So flight time, basically. Ship cycles means kind of a variation between a few things here. So bear with me here. They can count it as ship pressurization, engine startup and shutdown. They can count it gear up and gear down. So it's a combination of those things. You can even consider cycles when we do perform maintenance, when we have to pressurize the aircraft on the ground. That's considered a cycle. So, but I want you to understand the basic difference between ship time and ship cycles, and that will give you a good understanding of the number difference between those two that I said there. So there you go. So, okay, let's keep going. 1998. Wow. That's an old bird. Still strong though. Still going strong. Man, oh man, that's amazing. Still got the old CRT screens. That's hilarious. That's funny. Yeah, this one's going out to Mexico if I'm not mistaken. So, well, everything's good. Just gotta stand by. Looking good, a little dirty, but good. Oh, nice, fresh. Of course we're gonna give it a little bit of love. Oh my God, that's all. Like that didn't work out the way I wanted. Woo, that's hot. A fantastic question was asked about cables. How do we deal with them and how do we inspect them? Physical cables are present in a variety of aircraft. 737s, obviously, because it's a classic. You have cables even 320 series. You have cables in a 777. Not all of them are direct control. Some of them are still fly-by-wire, but let's focus on the 737, which is a direct control aircraft. Cables are responsible for giving input to the flight controls for maneuverability of the aircraft. The composition of the cable, or what it's made out of, is steel. The reason I'm showing you this portion of it because the 737 has some of its flight control cables exposed. Most other aircraft, all are hidden away. They're behind panels and within the fuselage. When we do our walk around within the 737, we have the opportunity to inspect certain components of those cables and the turnbuckle. When it comes to other aircraft, we have to wait until it becomes a particular check that we take down panels and actually inspect those cables. When it comes down to the inspection of the cable or a visual inspection, we are looking for any kind of fraying, damage, or any kind of deterioration. We're looking at the turnbuckles, making sure the clips are still there. The clips prevents the turnbuckle from loosening. Now, when it comes down to heavier checks and when it comes down to very minute detail inspection, we are using a cable tensioner. You see, steel has a very good property when it comes to strength, but where it lacks is when it starts going into different temperatures and pressures. It starts expanding and contracting, which leads to tension deformation. In layman's terms, it becomes not as taut as it used to be. It loses its tension. That's why we use particular tools to inspect such cables and variety of portions of the aircraft. We will place a very particular tensiometer. Here's an example off aircraft. This is a rig board. This is a simulator or a simulated event for aileron rigging. This used to be one of the older events at the AMC, Aerospace Maintenance Competition. Lots of fun. But this is the tool I'm talking about. This is called a tensiometer. This is a very fancy one. It's digital. They have analog ones as well, but let's look at the cable first. Let's look at the way we have to secure the cable at the turnbuckle so we can adjust the cable to its proper tension. We will place these stoppers right here at the ends of the turnbuckle because we don't want to turn or twist the cable. All we want to turn is the turnbuckle. Rotating in one direction will tighten it. Rotating in opposite direction will loosen it. We want to find the proper tension and properly rig it. The tensiometer can be set to a particular cable size because there's various amounts of cable sizes throughout an aircraft, and it will read in inch pounds. You can reconfigure it to read in any other different measurements as well. I am failing to mention all the other important aspects. I'm just giving you the basics over here. The other important aspects is deactivating certain systems, making sure there's rig pins installed properly. So there's a lot that goes on when you're doing rigging on an aircraft. Overall, it is a bit of a complicated process, but once you do it a couple of times, you get used to it and you understand the process. It becomes very easy. But first time doing it, yes, it is a bit intimidating. You definitely do not want to misrig an aircraft, especially when it got to do with flight controls. Here is a very good example of how it reads. I'm just simply pushing tension or putting tension on the cable itself. You can see the numbers fluctuating. We follow aircraft maintenance manuals and we follow the instructions and the values that we need from those cables. But I just wanted to give you an example of how it's done, or a visual representation of how it would be done in a real world environment. As technology moves forward, cables are less and less. If you take a look at the 787, there are no cables at all. And from what I understand, Airbus 320 series is slowly phasing away the THS physical cable as well. The future is fly-by-wire, and this system is becoming a thing of the past. Still going to see this technology. It's not disappearing. It's just disappearing in major jetliners. Where it will stay is general aviation and some corporate aviation. It's a basic rudimentary system for flight controls and movement. Going back to turnbuckles themselves, the turnbuckles nowadays use clips. They don't safety wire them anymore. Even though you still can safety wire it, but now clips are used. The whole point of the safety wire or the turnbuckle clips, like you see right here, is to prevent it from loosening. The clips simply slip into a very particular slot and get locked into that hole right up top in the center body of the turnbuckle, as you can see right there. Very easy. And if you want to see what it looks like to safety wire it, here you go. This is me doing this on the same type of rig board. There's a variety of way of doing this. This is a double safety wire for the turnbuckle. Reference the AC 4313 for this. It's available on the FAA website. Now, forgive me, my technique is not perfect. This is not done in modern aviation anymore. It might be done on some general aviation aircraft, but when it comes down to big jetliners, we use the clips. So I might be a little rusty on this one. I'm trying my best.
Using 20,000 safety wire, so it's not the right safety wire, but it's all right. This is just for practice. Tuck these in so we don't chop our fingers off, poke each other. Same thing on the other side. Fold. Just
the minimum turns, you have to have at least 4. And one wire goes in one direction, the other wire, when you twist it, has to go in the opposite direction.
up. Another one in the opposite direction. That's about it. Tuck these in. Get a bunch of blood all over the place. Leave DNA on airplanes. Fun. That's how you turnbuckle, safety wire turnbuckle, a double loop. That's it.
Well, apparently I still managed to leave my DNA on that turnbuckle. Yeah, it never fails. Anytime you're working with safety wire, it's going to happen. If you're getting into this line of business, be ready for it. And by the way, get good at safety wire. One very important thing to do and one important thing to practice. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, let's see now. This one is going to Chicago. Yeah, oils are good, hydraulics are good. Not much I can show you here that you don't already know. Anyway, on to the next one. Let's go. Hey, Crawfish! Okay, here we are back into another Airbus, and I already checked the oils downstairs. But here's an interesting thing about the 321neos, or the ones that are equipped with the CFM LEAP engines. Notice no indication, because the way it works on these airplanes with these engines, you actually have to energize the FADECs right here. FADEC, it's an acronym, stands for Full Authority Digital Engine Control. It's basically the brains of the engine, the brains of the operation of the engine. It will regulate everything on that engine, everything from fuel flow to ignition to just compression ratios. Each engine has one FADEC that's split into two channels. So even if one fails, you still have another channel. Redundancy, as always. And here's the really cool part about this. Even if the whole aircraft loses power completely, the FADECs can still function because the engines have their own dedicated alternator to supply power. So even with zero power, electrical power on the aircraft, you still have a running engine. Amazing technology. Let's see. Watch. Once you energize the FADEC, all your indication comes through. There you go. See? Pretty cool. Or you can do, or when you go to engine start also, that also energizes the FADECs. This is also when you turn these on, you can actually access through the MCDU and do the bite check on the FADEC system. One other thing, students or people that are just enthusiastic about aviation and learning get very confused, the difference between FADEC and EEC, electronic engine control. They are the same thing. Well, hold on, I'm lying to you here. It is the same thing, but it's not the same thing. Okay, FADEC is the system. EEC is the actual box that's attached to the engine. Okay, now you understand it? FADEC is the software, EEC is the hardware. But the term gets thrown around so loosely, they just become one thing. Some people call it the FADEC, some people call it EEC. So we all know we're talking about the same thing. There you go, this is what I mean. If you go to engines, watch, if I try to go FADEC, it's gonna say not available. See, not responsive. Well, let's say if we go turn it on, try that again. By the way, every FADEC has two channels, channel A and B. Oh, come on. You gotta give it a second for it to energize. Any day now. There. Now you're into the FADEC menu where you can do operational checks. Pretty cool, huh? All right, here we go. Round two, next shift. But this is not my airplane. Apparently I got put on the brake riding team again this afternoon. So I'm gonna head over to International and go do some brake riding. Come on, let's go. I'm gonna walk over there. It was definitely unusual for me to be placed on the brake riding crew on my Monday, so it is what it is. It was a very easy schedule, but then again, I got once again placed on a brake riding crew towards the end of my week on my Friday, but hey, I'm not complaining. You get to see cool airplanes moving around, so let's go. We're gonna walk over to the international terminal, and we actually see our airplane pulling up. There it is, their beautiful 737-800 right there. The reason I say my Monday and my Friday, usually on your Monday, you get pretty much hammered. The reason I bring up Mondays and Fridays is because Mondays usually you come in fresh, so they give you heavy workload. Towards the end of your week, you're pretty tired. Crew chiefs take it easy on you, and you get some easy work. But that's not always like that all the time. Oops, he forgot his taxi light on. It's all good. We'll go turn it off upstairs. Do a quick little walk around, make sure everything's okay. Oh, this is clean. This is super. This must have came out of a heavy check. Yep, why not? Let me get a little personal. You know, I'm a believer in a higher power, and I believe in God. But interestingly enough, I believe more in the human spirit, the goodness and kindness of mankind. It doesn't really matter what you believe in, but the golden rule always stands true no matter what you believe in. Treat people as you would want to be treated. Be kind to one another. Show love and compassion, even at the most desperate moments. Whether it's God or karma or anything else, the universe always has a way of adjusting itself to reward the people that are good to others. But again, I'm not trying to get philosophical, or maybe I am. STIG philosophy. I should write a book. No, I will not. Okay, let's keep going with airplanes. Why am I talking about this? I walked into this 737 wheel well and it was much cleaner and more pristine. And this references back to the conversation we had when we were talking about cables, and it's a better representation because you can see it more clearly. This is why I stopped and kind of give you a better visual understanding of what's going on. The other wheel well was pretty messy, so enjoy it right here. Much cleaner, much nicer, and gives you a better reference point. All right, let's go.
If you are sitting in an exit seat, please review the safety card in the seat pocket.
That scared the heck out of me. Oh my God. Be quiet. No, I don't want to see. Oh my God, that scared the... Whew. All right. No, we're not doing this today. Not doing this today. All right, let's get this thing ready. Here we go. Yeah, there it is. Taxi light off. Let's see. Get the frequency set up, get the transponder set up, get everything going. Then we'll wait for our tug and tow team to come over and push us up, push us out. Pretty much it. It's like before. You guys seen this before. Should be fun. Ground, you copy?
Copy that. Just give me 1 second. Just want to do a mic check really quick. Thank you.
Yeah, go for it, dude.
All right, buddy. We're all set down here. If you're all set, give me brakes, please.
All right, are we clear for hydraulics?
You sure are.
All right. Hydraulics running. Brakes released.
Brakes up. Thank you.
And here we go. We're on our way. We're going to get towed to our parking location where this aircraft will spend overnight.
Ground, this is American 153, top of Charlie 10 with Charlie 17.
American 153, LA ground, proceed via Charlie to the ramp.
On the park, American 153.
A lot of you guys expressed your appreciation and love for listening to ATC, so I'm going to let this run out until we get to parking. So I'll be quiet, enjoy all of it, all the ambiance and all the beautiful sounds. If you don't enjoy it, feel free to fast forward through the video. There you go.
Number 7, November Lima, runway 25 left, taxi via Alpha, hold short of Foxtrot. 25 left via Alpha, hold short of Foxtrot, 417 November Lima.
3698, Chicago 217 Bravo.
Southwest 3698, LA ground, taxi via Charlie North route.
Charlie North route, 3698. And ground Demolition 2387, kilo, hold short of Charlie.
Reason 2387, LA ground, runway 25 right, hold short Charlie.
25 right, hold short Charlie, Demolition 2387. Ground Skywest 6294 coming out of the box, information November taxi.
Tower 6294, LA ground, runway 25 right, taxi via Charlie 4 Bravo, Ed Bravo, follow American.
25 right, Charlie 4 Bravo, Bravo, follow American, Scout 6294.
Legion 2387, taxi via Bravo, runway 25 right.
25 Sunflight Via Bravo, Legion 23 is up next.
November 7, November Lima, monitor tower 12095, 6 way. Monitoring 2095, thank you for American 1504, monitor tower. Tower tower, 1504. Tower 6341, LA Ground taxi via Bravo Charlie 6. Bravo Charlie 6, Skywest 50.
We finally got to our hangar. Well, not, actually not our hangar. That's the old United hangar. Our hangar, or portion of our ramp, is being demolished because of the new international terminal. So they assigned us this portion of the ramp where the old United ramp area was. So we get to use it now. From what I've been told, they're going to demolish this old hangar over here and they're going to build us a new one, but I'm not sure yet. But I know one thing for sure is that our hangar, my company's hangar, is going to get demolished at one point or another.
Ground, brakes are set. Brakes are set.
Break set, copy that. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Thank you, man.
Okay, all is left to do. Hydraulics are already off, lights are off. Basically, turn off the APU. That's about it.
The seatbelt sign is on.
That always messes me. That's the second time. Okay. Once that shuts down, turn off the fuel pump, take the battery offline. Emergency lights are already offline. That's about it. On to the next one. Let's go. All right, here comes the next one. Let's put in a transponder. Indent. And I got flight radar opened up. Let's see if, there it is. Just popped up. This one. So if you're on flight radar 24 right now, you can actually watch the airplane move. I'm on board. Pretty cool, huh? All right, come on, let's get this rest of this readied up and get it going. All right, this one didn't talk back. All right, we're just waiting for the tug downstairs, and then we'll be on our way shortly. Easy. That's it. All right. turn off hydraulics, turn off the beacon, turn off the emergency lights, turn off the adderers, you don't need this anymore, turn off bleed air, and then just wait for the AP to cool down, and then turn off APU, and then batteries. That's it. If you watch to the end of this video, I'm going to tell you another ghost story that I experienced. So if you want to stick around, it'll be at the end. Day number 1 done. Hope you guys had fun. I'll see you bright and early in the morning. Later. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to more fun. Come on. Let's go wake this one up. First one on the list. There we go. So far, so good. These are my little pet peeves, making sure they're not too loose. Like that. See that? Sometimes, see there's an Allen key in there. Just gotta tighten that up. It's easy. You know, it's love for your craft and attention to detail. And you can apply that to everything in this world, in your life. Attention to detail and loving what you do. Next office. Oh, look at Matt. Nice. Been reading the news. I always read the news, and apparently Boeing pled guilty and they're fined, I think it was over $200 million. I really hope they get their act straight. I really want them to do better. Boeing needs to come back stronger and better. We need them in the industry. Here we go. Beautiful Max. But came in with a little bit of write-up. Let's see. Oxygen. Gotta change the bottle out. It's a little below limits. So this is a crew oxygen bottle for the crew itself, only for the flight deck. Passengers have their own oxygen generation system, which is overhead where you sit. I've shown you that before. Now, when it comes down to crew oxygen, there's limits. Limits of how low oxygen can get and limits on how many personnel can be within the flight deck. Here's a quick little chart that you can reference, and it gives you the pressures that are required for how many crew members there are on board for dispatch. Now, dispatch limits are pretty low for 2 individuals within the flight deck, but this one was going out to Miami, and 800 psi is a bit too low for my standards. We're going to change the bottle. First, let's find the breaker. According to the manual, turn around, F7. Right there. 7. Let's go change the bottle. Easy. I already got the brand new bottle right here. Got my torque wrench, got the leak check. We'll get this done easy. It's in the forward cargo pit. Okay, it's behind this panel. Zeus fasteners, these are much easier, so let's take those off. Easy. Dad's old screwdriver. Miss you, Dad. Thank you.
At the bottom?
Yeah, it's over there outside.
Alright. You need the old one.
Yeah. So this is the forward cargo pit of the 737-800 series or the NG series, and the oxygen bottle lives within the equipment bay or the avionics bay, believe it or not. It sits right next to the battery. In the olden days, on the Jurassic or classic periods of the 737, it had its own compartment to the right side of the aircraft. Still equipped within the forward cargo bay, but it had its own compartment. Now they included it into this area. Now, I don't know why Boeing decided to do this, but you know, it is what it is. I'm guessing to create more room inside the cargo pit. The procedure is very simple. It's very straightforward. You open the compartment, you close off the oxygen bottle itself, and then start to disassemble the components, which is the pressure regulator and the overpressure valve, or I should say the overpressure connector. A quick reminder to all my technicians, my fellow technicians, or people that are going to school for this type of job: always use clean tools, grease-free and dirt-free tools. First of all, you don't want to contaminate the system. Second of all, grease and pure oxygen do not mix well together. A very big potential for an explosion. The contents of the bottle is obviously oxygen, but it's very particular oxygen. We call it aviators breathing oxygen. It's about 98-99% moisture-free. The first line I loosened and removed out of the way. That's the overpressure line. Next, I'm going to be loosening up the regulator itself. Once I remove the regulator, now I need to take off this cannon plug to get the bottle out. The cannon plug is an electrical source, and this is what actually monitors the pressure inside the bottle. That's the indication that you saw within the flight deck. Up next is simply turning that knob that you see me doing right there, and that will remove that clamshell or that unit that's housing the forward portion of the bottle. It simply swings down and you can remove the bottle. Pretty simple, very easy. So something interesting happened. The bottle I'm taking out is actually a composite bottle. It's the modern way of doing things. It's much more lightweight and easier to handle. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's wrapped in Kevlar. So the interesting part about this is that when we go through our IPC, our illustrated parts catalog, that's how we order parts, but there's a variety of parts that are out there. The one I ordered from our stores department was still effective, but it wasn't exactly the same bottle. It was a steel bottle. Now don't get me wrong, I can put the steel bottle in there as well. They're interchangeable as a part number and they're effective to the aircraft, but I wanted the correct bottle. That is the latest version of it. What I did is I reordered a brand new bottle, which was the correct or matching part number, and we got it. While I waited for the new bottle to show up, I figured I'd give you a little glimpse on what the battery looks like. This is the main ship battery of the 737. Feel free to pause and look at this. It's a 24-volt battery, and you can see the amp hours, and it's a nickel cadmium battery. That's pretty much standard on most aircraft, except for the only one I know of, the 787. That one actually uses lithium-ion batteries. Everything pretty much goes back in reverse order. I have my torque wrench ready. My partner is also helping me out. We're going to get this all back together, tightened up, torqued properly. We will perform a leak check. When opening up oxygen bottles, you have to do it very slowly, quarter turn at a time. You don't want to surge the system. That's open. We have our leak check detector, which is basically soapy water. You shake it up and then you pour on the joints and making sure you see no bubbles. We had no bubbles. Everything's good to go. All I got to do is put on the witness cable, which is a small little copper wire. And after that, we close the panel. Super easy. Once all our work is done within the cargo pit, we'll clean our area, then go upstairs, push the breaker in, and then we watch for the indication.
All right.
Hey, hello. Why is this still pointing zero? Did you change that?
Yeah. There's a breaker's out.
Oh.
That's why I have placard.
Further giving off.
Perfect. Test okay?
Yeah.
Good.
There was another test I was supposed to perform, but since the pilots were there, they performed it for me. Remember, oxygen goes to the oxygen masks to the pilots. They both have an oxygen mask, as well as the observer. But the oxygen masks also have a microphone in there because they can still communicate while the mask is on. So you have to perform an oxygen mask test, making sure that there's positive flow and the communications are good. Besides that, we're good to go. Airplane got dispatched. On to the next one.
There you go. Easy as that. Now, paperwork. No worries. Get it out on time. They're still loading passengers. Easy. Off to Miami with you.
You know, one of my favorite things to do is to watch these beautiful marvels of engineering, either taking off, taxiing around, and the beautiful liveries as well from all different types of nations. But this one is in particular a very special one, Air New Zealand. I'm sure you guys know this one. This is the beautiful Black Beauty, and she is gorgeous. next one. And yes, that's exactly what you think you're seeing. One of the wheels comes off the ground. I made previous posts or previous videos and I explained to you exactly why that happens. It's because of the tilt of the gear. Go check it out when you get time. A little bit of a tight turn there, huh? We're back to chapter 38. Can you guess what caused the clog? Just take a guess. Coffee grounds. Let's investigate. Oh, we gotta pull all this apart. Oh, this is gonna be fun. So to get to that drain valve, you have to access not one, not two, three different panels. Look at this. Oh my God, that's right here. And like I said, can you guess what's in there? Coffee grounds. Coffee grounds. Please stop putting coffee grounds down the galley drains. Oh, it smells horrible in here. Don't worry, I'll get the cleaning crew over here to clean all this up, but I gotta unclog this first. Screw there, clamp, pops out, and then I gotta clean it out. All right, so clamp one is loose, that's loose, that's loose. And I already took this clamp off, that's holding this now. As soon as I pull this, it's gonna be a mess. And there it is. Oh, that smells horrible. That smells horrible. All right, so that's the unit. See it? All clogged up inside. Anyway, so we're gonna clean this up. While I clean that up, the cleaning crew will clean all this up. Get this all brand new, spick and span. Oh man, I think I'm smelling an orange juice in there. Gross. Anyway, we'll clean this all up and I'll clean all the counters. Don't worry, it's all gonna be sanitized. All right, there you go. See, nice and clean. That was a lot of muck. That was gross. Okay. I'll get this all cleaned up and then we'll reinstall this. And then ops check it, leak check it right here. Let's clean this up first. Oh, that looks a lot better than I used to. All right, now cleaned over here as well. Now we'll put this back in, just like I was sitting like that. People always like to ask me, what is the worst job? Well, in my opinion, it's always anything regarding to Chapter 38, which is water and waste. Plumbing of the airplane, and my respects to any plumber that does housework. It's a difficult job, very nasty job, and especially nasty when it comes down to airplanes. Very close quarters environment and not a lot of room to work in. So you kind of become a contortionist and try to wiggle in and try to do your job. But as I said, cleaned everything up. Everything was nice and good. Closed everything up. Checked it. Good to go. Problem fixed.
Seniority doesn't matter. Chapter 38 will always find you.
Okay. Well, at least the important stuff is good to work and working. Oh, that's a pretty sunset. Reflection of it. Anyway, I'm being distracted. Clean post-flight, that's what I like. Status. Normal, and I already checked the engine oils and the hydraulics. Otherwise, I'm on standby until this leaves. Pretty much it. Man, that was ATA chapter 38 always gets you. Alright, it's all good. Alright. Come on, let's go take a little break. Oh, look at that, it got foggy. Well, another day done. Hope you guys had fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Later.
Welcome back to our final day of our shift. So let's go. Let's have some fun.
Welcome back, everybody. One more day. Today, back on a brake crew. Brake riding. So, have some fun. Pilots didn't know we were taking this out, so they shut the airplane down. It's all good though. Power back up right now. Get it ready to go. Basically a rerun of what you guys saw 2 days ago. Brake riding. Alrighty, let's get this thing all set up and powered up and going easy. Cabin is clear. Let's close the doors and call for a jet bridge operator. Come on, there it goes.
As I said before, on the last day of my work week, they gave me the brake riding crew, which I much appreciated. It's a nice, easy gig, and here we go. Move some airplanes around. Let's go.
American Maintenance 1, the ground. We're going to get towed into, pushed back into Charlie, then taxi to Charlie 13. Southwest 3306, LA ground, taxi to Charlie November North Route. Charlie November North Route, Southwest 3306. American Maintenance 1, LA ground, push tail east for taxiway Charlie. Push tail east. American Maintenance 1. Delta 1112, LA ground, taxi to Charlie November North Route. Charlie November North Route, Delta 1112. LA ground, ABEX 105, taxi Juliet. ABEX 105 heavy, it is Juliet current, altimeter 2981, runway 25 left, taxi to Alpha, hold short of Foxtrot. Alpha, hold short of Foxtrot, run 25 left, ABEX 105. 77XE, with you on Alpha, go to Atlantic. Here, 7 November, cross taxi via Alpha, Alpha 6. Alpha, Alpha 6 to Atlantic, 77XE. ABEX 105 heavy, read back, runway 25 left, affirm, runway 25 left, ABEX 105. American Maintenance 1, you said go to Charlie 13? Affirmative, we're going to Charlie 13, American Maintenance 1.
Legion 801 on Charlie at 10.3.
Legion 801 on the ground, taxi to Bravo, Lima, hold short of Kilo 1.
Bravo, Lima, hold short of Kilo 1, we're going to gate 209 Bravo. Please.
Thank you, sir. LA ground, American 47 Alpha, Charlie 10 for Charlie 5. American 47 Alpha, LA ground, proceed via Bravo, Charlie 5. American 47 Alpha, Bravo, Charlie 5. Bravo to Charlie 5, American 47 Alpha. That is 387, Charlie 10 past 9, American undertow.
Alright, the Charlie 10 behind American undertone, 37.
Dispatch 125 Heavy, monitor tower, 120.95. 120.95, AMS 105. Southwest 341, there's one traffic in the alley, continue Charlie 5, Charlie, proceed into my name.
Alright, so we'll wait and try to have Charlie with him, guys. 5341.
American Maintenance 1, proceed Charlie to Charlie 13.
Proceed Charlie to Charlie 13, American Maintenance 1. After engine starts.
I know it looks like rinse and repeat, but most of the time that's exactly what it is. It's routine maintenance and routine tasks. Even when it comes down to brake riding or taxiing or just routine walkarounds, that's majority of aircraft maintenance. Not every day is super exciting. Not every day is action-packed. But the thing is, you want it no action-packed. You want it to be nice and calm. That means things are running as they should. Airplanes are not braking. Everything is going smoothly. All right, that was easy. Pretty much everything is off. Battery's already off. All that's left to do is just turn off the APU. Easy. Well, man, I got sent out to the boonies. Gate 141. I am far away from home. Anyway, here comes the next one. Pick it up and drop it off. Easy. Watch, that's gonna be a tight turn. Right there. On to the next move. Ooh, the awkwardness of the door. Somebody asked, I forgot who asked, what are these things? You saw it on the other airplane too. So when the slide is armed, they'll put this on so the people from the outside know the slide is armed. So that's all it is for. It's just a visual indication of the slide is armed. You saw it on the previous airplane too, the Airbus. Anyway, let's go. There you go, jet bridge being pulled. Transponder set, radio set. All we gotta do is just get clearance from ground, and then we'll be on our way. So there was an interesting question, and actually a very good question, that was asked to me. And it said, how do pilots know how to be on the center line when they're taxiing? There's a very unique trick to this. It's got to do with visual perspective. The center line is the center line, and it's centered with the nose gear. But when pilots are taxiing, they align themselves with their inner leg. Let me rephrase this. The inboard leg. Whether it's the captain that's taxiing or the first officer, they align the center line to their inboard leg. I know it sounds goofy when I say inboard leg, but when you're sitting on the left or the right, you're inboard of the aircraft. The leg you align to that. That's how they know that the aircraft is on the center line when they are taxiing the aircraft under its own power. I really hope that makes sense, but that's the way it was taught to me when I went through my taxi qualifications. And my trainer said, just keep the line on your inboard leg and you'll be fine. You'll always stay on the center. Well, if you guys didn't know, yes, maintenance personnel can taxi aircraft. We are qualified for this because we get trained for such things. We have certain check rides when we get the qualifications for specific fleet types. We do this only when maintenance is required to do this, especially when it's a operational run or we have to test something, or if it's a malfunction and the aircraft has to be taken off the gate, and maintenance will come over and take the aircraft off the gate and taxi it back to the hangar. Not every single person is qualified, and from what I understand, my counterparts in the European side of the aviation world, funny enough, they're not allowed to do this for some reason, but over here in the United States, under the FAA governing laws, yes, we are allowed to do this. Quite interesting how things work. Otherwise, taxiing an airplane is actually one of the best parts of the job. It's one of the most fun parts of the job. You have multi-million-dollar equipment underneath you, and you have just incredible power. Just revving up engines and kick the tires, light the fires, boys. Come on, let's go. You know what I'm talking about. It's fun. Anyway, let's go back to the tow here, and I'll let you guys listen to the ATC.
Delta 392, go down to Delta 8 and Delta back to the ramp. Yeah, Delta 8, we'll go there and then you want us to just make a turn back to Delta 8, Delta. Delta 392, affirmative, Delta back and then company should be outside on. Sounds good, thank you. Delta 392, we understand. Westjet 1698, continue Delta 8 into the alley. Delta 8 into the alley, Westjet 1698. Southwest 2833, make the left turn here, Delta 7, Echo and hold short of Romeo. Left turn, Delta. So it's Charlie 17. There's the maintenance one, you're at Charlie 15 and you want to go to Charlie 17, do I understand that correctly?
That is correct, we're going to Charlie 17.
Roger, proceed via Charlie.
Big Charlie, American maintenance 1.
Railway, that's 5 on Yankee Shore, Charlie going 56 Bravo.
Spirit 3035, Bravo to parking.
Bravo to parking, Railway 655. Ground, good evening, Railway 3035, crossing, somewhere right on Juliet, going to 56 Alpha.
Spirit 3035, Bravo to parking.
Bravo to parking for Railway 3035, thank you.
American 141 at Lima, give way to your company.
Give way, company out Lima, American 141. Ground, let's go with 93, 69 Bravo, reconstruct first.
Alaska 193, push approved with your tail to the east, runway 24 right, Mike's current.
Okay, we'll plan on 24 right, taxi or back, tail east, and plan on 24 right, let's go 93.
Canada 777, taxi Bravo Charlie 7.
Bravo, Charlie 7, Canada 777.
American 2315, turn right on Charlie and taxi to parking. American 2315, turn right on Charlie and taxi to parking. United 2056, taxi Bravo to parking.
Ground American 2315, we're off on Bravo now for 42 Bravo, 42 Bravo.
Taxi Bravo to parking.
Bravo to parking, American 2315. Ground, can I have the 777 or cleared in?
Take it.
Can I have the 777 cleared in?
Okay.
Ground United 2056 is joint Bravo for 83.
For 83, taxi Bravo to parking.
Bravo to parking, can I have 20? American 302 is on taking.
Pop it. American 302, 51 Bravo is occupied, taxi Bravo short of Bravo 17.
Bravo, sure, Bravo 17, American 302.
Delta 692, ground runway 25 right, taxi via Bravo. Bravo 25 right, Delta 692.
That's a lot of kangaroos over there. I tell you what, this is the best job in the world, and this is the best view in the world. How about that? Queen of the sky landing. Absolutely incredible. Man, oh man, I love this.
Charlie 10, Charlie 4, Charlie 8,
I'm sorry, make it Charlie 10, Charlie short of Charlie 9.
Hey, ground, Spirit 655.
Yeah, Spirit 665, turn left here, and unless you're going to tell me that they cleared you in. Yeah.
So I messed up. Well, I messed up on the editing portion because I was supposed to include this in the beginning of the video, but I have no choice but to put it in this place, just the way editing works. Sorry, I suck at it. I'm still learning, but we did get to go visit cargo, or the cargo side, and never disappoints as always. And we saw a beautiful Rolls-Royce and this vintage classic
Bugatti. I don't know what model this is, so you guys, you know, internet, do your thing. You tell me what this is. But it was beautiful. But once again, my apologies to throwing this portion at the end of the video. I know you guys usually used to seeing this in the middle of the video, but here it is. Still cool cars, you know, cars and aviation. But anyway, enjoy, and we'll go back to the 737 where we're going to be taxiing, or excuse me, not taxiing, towing, and I got a ghost story waiting for you. And before I forget, I also have another thing to show you, which I forgot to include. Do you remember last week I showed you a Qatar Royalty Family A330? Well, guess what came in this week? Their A340. Their A340-200. Another unicorn. What a clean, gorgeous aircraft. All right, enough of my shenanigans and horrible editing. Let's go back to the airplane. Well, that was a fun ride. Turn off hydraulics. Let's see now. Anti-collision off. We can turn that off. Pretty much it.
The seatbelt sign is on. Please be seated and fasten.
That always catches me by surprise. Every single time. Boo! Time for a ghost story. Okay. It was late at night. I was working night shift once again. It was another 737. I was finishing up my walk around and obviously I turned power off, but all of a sudden, one of the cabin doors went up, or one of the overhead bins went up. It was very strange. I said, okay, bring it back down. I kept on going, turn around, all of a sudden, the door's back up again. Once again, the cabin got very cold. At this point, I've had experiences before, so I said, you know what? I'm gonna leave it up. Leave it alone. Let's go back downstairs. All of a sudden, another one went up. And panic sets in. I turn around, another one goes up. You ever get that feeling when something doesn't feel right? Like, you feel it inside of you, where every ounce of your body just wants to get out of that place. That is what is happening to me. I know something's there. And the thing that scares me the most, that it's out of my control. You can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't even feel it. I tried to get out of that airplane as fast as I humanly possibly can, but something was not letting me go. Imagine an invisible force, like as if somebody put their hand on your chest and will not let you move forward. I remember stopping, taking a deep breath and saying out loud, it's not my time. I'm not the one. Leave me alone. It let me go. Later on, I learned that it was actually somebody that passed away. It wasn't a passenger this time. It was actually a crew worker. Not a mechanic, but a cleaner, a aircraft cleaner. An elderly man who was still working and had a heart attack and passed away on that airplane. And his soul got attached to that airplane. It stayed. It didn't want me to leave for some reason. But by asking kindly, it allowed me to leave. It understood me. Now that I have you all scared to death, the ending portion of my day did not end with me walking out on a ramp. It actually ended with a training scenario. We had a training session within our hangar that I had to go attend, and it was a training for tire inspection. This is a very good representation of damaged tires and what we look for when we are inspecting them. Feel free to look over this, pause it, read it. It's a very good scenario, and it's represented by Michelin, I believe. This is how we do our training, and we have excellent instructors and excellent teachers that give us all the pertinent data that we need to inspect aircraft, or even recurrent training. And that's about it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something. Thank you all for being here and watching. I appreciate every single one of you. I hope you have a good day and a good rest of the week, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Take care. Stig, signing out. Later. All right.
Have a good night, y'all. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys on the next adventure. Later.